Hello everyone and welcome back to Brooksburk Zoo. No, we're not going to enter through the main gates this time. We are going to enter through our backstage area this time. Because why not? Okay, so let's go around here with all our backstage buildings, the greenery, the little one, and then entering at the backstage entry. Okay, we have to build some kind of barriers in here because the security man is walking through the fence, which is not looking cute. Yeah, we have to take care of that. But we are going to turn left here in our new area, which is the Paradise Beyond that we started building in last week's episode. In last week's episode we built these two little habitats for the Tasmanian devils. And the Tasmanian devils are quite comfy in their habitats. You can see those little critters right here. Two of them in that habitat, two of them in the left one, and I really do hope that we will get offspring very soon. I think none of those two is actually pregnant right at the moment, but yeah, it will take some time, but we will get there and I will show you the babies for sure. Okay, in today's episode, what are we going to do? We are definitely taking care of the new animals that we got in the Oceania DLC, and with that being said, as we built a habitat, or we renovated a habitat for the quokka in Litchfield Zoo last week, we want to build something different this time for another animal, and I chose that I wanted to build something for the little blue penguins. And that's what we are going to do today. So this is going to be a little beach kind of habitat. It's going to be a small habitat as well. Small, yeah, kind of small. Small if you have a look at it as a human being, then it might seem pretty small. But if you look at it as a blue penguin, it is quite big. So in the end we are going to have 12 of those penguins in here, and we could double that amount of penguins because it still is looking like if we don't have any animals in there at all. But yeah, so we have enough space for offspring and little tiny penguin chicks. Yeah, I think it's called chicks. We are going to create this beach area with a big pool right in front of it, with an underwater viewing area and an elevated path right in front of it. There's also going to be a little building for the penguins where they can go into, hide in there and have a nap. We're not going to build any kind of backstage things this time because the habitat took quite a lot of time, because it is a little bit I wanted to say expensive. No, it was not that expensive, but yeah, it took quite some time to build the whole habitat. We're also going to have a little restaurant at the back of the habitat, a little kind of beach restaurant, not a big one, just a few seating yeah, tables in there. I think it is 4 at a terrace. No interior, nothing at all. Just a building and a little viewing terrace for our visitors as well. Yeah, and we also had a little bit of difficulties. Why do I always say we when I'm the only one that's building this? Well, I had a little bit of difficulties as well because I had to do with the holy trinity of the devil of Planet Zoo again. So path, water, barriers. Yeah, that's fun. But to be honest, it worked better than I anticipated. So yeah, it was not that bad, as you can see right now. First of all, I made the terrain look as I wanted it to look. Then I placed the path, and afterwards I placed the barriers, and the last thing that I did place was the water, which is perfectly fine when you do something like this and you build a pool where the water is inside the barriers. If you don't have a pool and want to place the water just within the terrain, you should start with the water. Because yeah, if you don't do that, path will always cause problems, and you might not be able to set the water level at that level that you usually want to have it. So yeah, for that reason, always start with the water first when you don't use glass barriers. Okay, but we did use glass barriers. You can already see what I'm going for. We have this elevated path right in front of the underwater viewing area, and the lower path right before it. I wanted to block the view of the viewers, of our guests a little bit, and have some kind of a planting area in here with some bigger plants, some bushes, grasses, some of the newer plants, some ferns and stuff like that. Not just to make it look nicer, but also, as I said, to block the view of our visitors a little bit, so that they have to walk upwards to the elevated path to have a closer look at the animals. Yeah, the visitors path is going around that pool up to the beach area, so they can have a look at the animals on eye level as well when they see the animals walking along on the beach and entering the restaurant. So our guests will enter the restaurant, not the penguins, hopefully. Yeah, some more plants in here, and it is already looking pretty nice. Yeah, I also wanted to play around a little bit with the decoration items that we got. So I was thinking of this little boat to place it in there, but then I thought, no, that's too much. Brooksburk is not that kind of a zoo, and we do go out of the way already a little bit. And yeah, but what I definitely wanted to use is this wooden patterns for the floor. Unfortunately, if you place them on top of a path, your guests will sink a little bit into those those planks. You can't do anything about it, I fear. Maybe if you use the invisible, no, not even with the invisible path, because those wooden planks are a little bit uneven, so you're not able to sink them that much into the ground that it actually would need to be, so that your guests don't sink into the planks. So yeah, I'm not happy with it, but I wanted to use it, and so I thought, okay, let's go for it, and we're just not seeing it. We pretend to not see it, I think. Yeah, here's some decoration around the pool, because I didn't want our guests to see right at the bottom of the glass front, so I put in this decorational stuff right here. There's also some kind of a concrete pieces in the gap between, so that none of our guests will get over there and get stuck between the pool and the path. So that's not possible anymore. Also using the new fence right here, which looks pretty cool. I really do love this. And I also wanted to have a little bit of a barrier for our guests so that they don't walk all the way up to the glass, because you guys know, if you go to a zoo and you are at an aquarium or at the sea lions or penguins, guests always get right in front of the windows and knock against it, and this is so annoying. Yeah, and it is also not that cool for the animals, because when you are underwater, you just have to yeah, try it out. If you are in the bathtub and you are diving down with your head underwater, everything is much louder underwater. So you can imagine how loud it would be for an animal if you knock against the windows. So this is not fun, and you definitely should not do this. And you should teach your children also to not do this, because, yeah, as I said, this is not fun. So, yeah. What did I want to say? Yeah, that's the reason why I put down this little barrier in front of it, so that our guests can't walk all the way up to the glass and knock against it. Hopefully. Yeah, so next step, placing the restaurant. You might have seen that I also laid out the groundwork for our for our little backstage area for the building for the penguins. Using those those wooden patterns again for our terrace for the restaurant. As I said, it's not very special, it's just a simple terrace with some roofing on it and a little fence, some tables in there, not that much decoration as well. Maybe we go into this in the next episode or the episode after that and do a little bit more about it. But yeah, it's just so that we do have another restaurant in here, because the only restaurant right now that we do have in Brooksburk Zoo is the Brooksburk Barn, and it is on the opposite side of the zoo. It's right next to our Madagascar house and the Living Desert. So it's it's quite a while that you have to walk as a guest to get there. So I decided we need some more food in here. We also do have those little snack stations at the at the entrance of the zoo, but no proper restaurant, so I decided we will have this little one right here. And the great thing with that restaurant thing is that you actually don't have to build any path, so your guests don't need to be able to walk up to the terrace. So it can be just decorational, and you put those tables onto it and the guests can use that. Yeah, so here I'm creating the little viewing area on top of the habitat, so where our guests can view the animals on the beach actually, and have a closer look at them, at all of them that are not actually swimming. Using those artificial rocks, so those faux rocks I think they are called, from the Aquatic DLC, because I thought they fit perfectly for that beach theming in here. They also do have this beachy, deserty look. I didn't want to use those lava rocks that we got from the DLC, because I thought that would not be that perfect of a match that I wanted to have in here. They are pretty cool for the habitat for the Tasmanian devils, where I used them. And they might be very usable for the kiwi as well, or for the quokka in a later stage when we build the habitat for those animals, but I didn't want to use that for the penguins. yeah, and here comes a little bit cheesiness into the whole thing. I wanted to use those surfboards. I saw it somewhere on a video, or was it on some footage where I saw these surfboards, and I wanted to use them for the penguins as well, because I thought, yeah, surfboards, that is Australia, that is Sydney, that is absolutely perfect, and I wanted to use them here. But not the little boat, even though I think it might have looked very cool as well. But once again, I had to remind myself that we are in Brooksburk. Brooksburk is a very classical zoo. It's an old zoo with some history. We do have Brooksburk Castle right next to the Paradise Beyond area. So yeah, I had to remind myself to not overdo it and just keep it a little bit more simple. So the whole area here is quite more like those adventure zoos that you see these days everywhere. So yeah, for American examples like Animal Kingdom, or not just Animal Kingdom, it's you can see this everywhere. Even though in Miami Metro Zoo, in Tampa, Atlanta, wherever you go, most of the American zoos are in that heavy themed style, or lots of them are, and yeah, so we're having this in this area as well, and I think it might be okay. When we pretend this is something like a newer area, like we do have with the Living Desert, which is also kind of a new area. We have some older buildings in here, like the building for the rhinos, where we said this is some kind of an older building that was still in the zoo and is reused or a little bit renovated, but yeah. So yeah, there's that. I just don't know anymore where I started or what I wanted to say. That happens quite some time. Hopefully this is nothing serious, because I often think about yeah, what happens a lot these days is or what not just these days, recently, that I'm talking about stuff and I'm very forgetful, but I often forget about things that I already said a few minutes before, which is a little bit concerning, I guess. But yeah. Oh, so if I'm talking about forgetting about things, I forgot to tell you guys at the beginning of the video what I wanted to tell you in every video, because it works pretty fine when I do that. So if you haven't already done, please click the like button for this video right now. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel as well, you may also click on the subscribe button. This would help me a lot and helps my channel to grow, helps me to provide you guys with lots of new content, to take my time and do new videos for you. Not just Brooksburk and Litchfield Zoo, but also those real life zoo tours that I'm doing. Also the baking videos that I'm going to do in a few weeks again as well. And everything else that I'm going to do. Oh, and I have to remind you guys that there is going to be a live stream, a charity live stream on my channel next Wednesday, October 3rd at in the afternoon at 3 p.m. Central European Standard Time. It's going to be a charity live stream for the WWF. Yeah, because October 4th is the day of the animal, or the National Animals Day, And yeah, for that reason we are doing a little bit of a charity live stream, and we are collecting money for a good cause, and yeah, for everything that the WWF is doing to save our wildlife, our endangered animals, and also their environments. So if you are interested to join me, I am very happy to see all of you guys next Wednesday, October 3rd, 3 p.m. Central European Standard Time. But I have to tell you guys, for everyone that is not yeah, able to understand German, it might be a hard time for you because I'm doing the live stream in German language. Yeah, because it's just easier for me to do it in German. It is also yeah, a little bit difficult for me to do live streams because I have to actually yeah, take care of what I'm doing in the video, and of everything else that I'm saying, and taking care of the community, looking at the chat and stuff like that. And as I mentioned before, I already do have a hard time to remember what I said a minute before, and you can imagine what kind of a hard time it might be for me to not just remember what I said, but also taking care of several things at one at a time. So yeah, not one at a time, but several things at the same time. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, getting back into the video, just giving our buildings some kind of a used look to make it look a little bit more realistic, and finishing off the buildings. So as well, our building for the penguins. And as I said, it's not that special in here, just having some kind of a floor in here, some bedding for the penguins, and that's it. So no backstage stuff this time, because I'm focusing more on the habitat, especially when we have something like this habitat for the penguins, where we do have several areas and several viewing points. And yeah, so I thought it might be okay if we're not going for that kind of realism this time. Yeah, just putting a door in here, because that time has to be, we need to have a door or a gate or something like that, even if we're not going for the realism part this time too hard. A door has to be the least that we are going to put in here. So once again, a used look for the penguin house as well. And I think after that we are ready to go into some planting stuff. Yeah, but first of all, we are going to decorate our staircase here for our keepers, because we don't want the keeper path to be seen. So we're just using those concrete pieces. I just call them concrete pieces because I just don't know the word in English for this. I just have to Google it so I can tell you the correct word. So just a second. Yeah, it's the limestone pieces. I hope it's the correct word. Google says it is, so I have to believe it. Yeah. it's the limestone that I'm using. That's also the pieces that I use for most of my buildings, so not just the wall pieces of the limestone, but yeah, also those other pieces, because I think they are pretty beautiful and you don't have that much of sea fighting going on when you put them into each other. So that is something that I really do like. Yeah, using that new fence a lot in here. And that's why I deleted the fence that we built in the last episode, because with a second look at it, I just didn't like it that much. So I changed it, I deleted it, and did also use the fence that we got from the DLC. Some more plants in here. In the end, I'm ending up deleting some of the plants again, because I noticed that this part of the this area is getting a little bit dark and a little bit too shady, and I didn't like that much. You know the problem with the light in Planet Zoo, so that no matter what time of day you have, you are always going to have those shadows in here. Sometimes a little bit better, sometimes a little bit worse. So I decided just to delete a few of those trees so that we have a little bit more light in here. But unfortunately, with all the buildings that we have around it, we also do have some shadows that we can't get rid of. And yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, some planting around here as well. I also use those lime pieces for covering up the elevated path, and I think there's going to be a habitat right next to it. So when you walk up to the restaurant, you're going to have a view into another habitat. I just didn't decide which it is going to be. Maybe it's going to be for the quokka or the kiwi, or maybe even the koalas, because I told you guys that I wanted to have the koalas here as well. You guys can also let me know in the comment section which animal do you want to see in the Paradise Beyond area as well. Should we have something like the platypus in here, the wombat, or maybe even the emu, or something else? Just let me know in the comment section, and I'm pretty happy to put one or two of these suggestions here in this area as well. Yeah, because also we do have some other animals that are not from the Arid Animal Pack in the Living Desert area, with our giraffe savanna, with the zebras in there, and yeah, so why not? And also the ostrich, not to forget about that one. So I think it would be very cool when we would have some other animals here as well that we got earlier in Planet Zoo. Yeah, and I'm also very excited because I get to notice that there's definitely going to be more DLCs on Planet Zoo in the future. So I'm very happy for that, and I'm looking very much forward to that, because there's still animals that we are missing. But we are already at the end of today's episode. Let's have a look at everything that we've done so far today. Thank you guys for watching once again. Thank you guys for leaving a like and subscribing to my channel. We are already over 1,300 subscribers. Let's make it 1,400. And I hope you guys tune in next week as well, when we build the next habitat here in the Paradise Beyond in Brooksburk Zoo. So until then, take care guys. Bye.